William Cooper, author of Behold a Pale White Horse.
Right. Yeah. William Cooper.
He believed he worked for the Office of Naval Intelligence.
Right.
He was in charge of preparing briefings for Navy admirals and stuff. And in these preparations, and he was putting documents in logical order for these briefings, he came across an operation called Operation Majority, and it had a project in there called Project Red Light, and it was all alien stuff about reverse engineering, crashed UFO technology. So at first he thought, oh my God, this is real. I mean, UFOs are real. I'm looking at these briefings, and then he began to realize that they wanted him to leak it, and that there's been an operation going on where they're trying. He basically believed that the technology was real, but the extraterrestrial part of it was nonsense. And he got balls deep into researching everything about UFOs, and he realized that since at least 1917, he thinks probably before, that there's been an ongoing operation to prepare us for an artificial extraterrestrial invasion, and that's supposed to be the ultimate way to usher us into a one world totalitarian socialist government. And so he basically believed that all these space movies and comic books and stuff. So when you look at Roswell, 1947, the end of World War II, 1945, Operation Paperclip, we bring in all the Nazis. The Nazis were already scaring their people with fake UFOs. They were making fake UFOs and trying to scare their people. So it seemed like when we brought over the Nazis and one of our blood, it seems like they were like, you guys need to step up your alien UFO game. So Roswell happens, and all these movies and comic books, and then you look at like E.T. and Star Trek. It was created by Freemasonry, and Star Wars, and then you look at children's programming. I got a 7-year-old, and it's just space down his throat all day, space. And then you look at the origins of like the Big Bang, and people think the Big Bang was invented by some astrophysicist when it's actually a priest from the Vatican came up with the Big Bang theory. So little by little, you start to think like, wait a minute. And then now on CNN, they're pushing aliens all over CNN. So that's a big red flag right there. What do you think about fake alien invasion?
Do you think Bob Lazar is being told like him out type of thing?
Yeah, that's possible. I think Bob Lazar is like William Cooper, who didn't figure it out. William Cooper figured it out that they wanted him to leak, because Bob Lazar puts out a Netflix documentary and then he's on JRE and he's still alive.
And all he claims is that his friends got in trouble.
I believe Bob Lazar believes what he saw. I believe that. I think they set him up.
Well,
what do you think of
the truth I find in my life is never black and white. It's always a shade of grey. And when I've talked about there being a non-human element, and not necessarily extraterrestrial in terms of what that conjures in people's mind, but a non-human element to this human structure of control. I should be saying, see, told you, when, as you rightly say, we're now seeing the American Navy being much more laid back about, we're seeing all these craft and we can't explain them and all that stuff. But I'm not. I'm the opposite. Because if you look at the night sky and you're looking at a tiny fraction even of the Milky Way galaxy when you do that, you see all those lights and all that apparent distance. The idea that we're alone on a planet which, according to mainstream science, compared with the projected size of the universe, planet Earth is the equivalent of a billionth of a pinhead. So the idea that we are alone and there's not other life out there, for me, crosses the line of insanity. But if we're going to understand what's going on and we're going to be streetwise, then we have to look at evidence, and we have to look at who benefits from us believing this or believing that. And I absolutely agree with you. There is an agenda which could quite possibly be played, which is to fake an alien invasion, because I've just been talking there about what it's all about. It's about the centralization and centralization of power, politically, militarily. They want a world army, they want a world central bank, they want a world currency, which I've been saying for decades is designed to be just digital money, no cash at all, and look at the way that's going. Now, if you look at the outcome of an alleged alien invasion, in fact, Ronald Reagan kind of articulated it when he was in power. He said that if there was a threat from beyond, we'd all come together. And if you look at what happens when a country's at war, you get a war cabinet. There's the centralization of power. A lot of democracy things get put aside because we must fight the war. What would happen if a fake alien invasion was played and people believed it, is you would have the ultimate excuse to centralize power on a global level, military power, all power, to react to this threat. And I think that there's a very good chance that is waiting in the shadows to be played, yes. And that's why whatever subject you're dealing with, whether it's extraterrestrials or UFOs or whatever it is, you have to keep one step back and keep streetwise. Never mind, this is telling me what I'd like to be true or telling me what I've said is true. Who benefits from this? So what is the reason that this is happening? So yes, there is non-human life out there. Of course there is. But is there a plan, an agenda to use the fake alien invasion to justify centralization of global power? There's a very good chance that's the case, yes. And there's lots of evidence to support that over the years.